Hey, English learners, welcome back to Spark and Speak, your favorite place to learn real English. Today, we are talking about something that happens inside your head every single day, and nobody ever taught you how to fix it. That little pause before you speak, that moment when a sentence forms perfectly in your own language, and then you have to stop, translate it, word by word, and by the time you finish, the conversation has already moved on. I know that feeling. And today I am giving you 5 simple mental exercises, not grammar rules, not vocabulary lists. Real exercises for your brain, the kind you can start using in the next 10 minutes, that slowly turn off the translator inside your head and turn on real English thinking. So stay with me. This one is going to change how you speak. Let me paint you a picture. Marco is standing in a supermarket in Milan, an Italian supermarket, but he is talking to a British tourist who is lost and needs directions to the train station. And Marco knows English. He studied it for years. But in that moment, his brain does this strange thing. He thinks the sentence in Italian first, devi girare destra dopo il semaforo, and then his brain starts translating it word by word into English. By the time he says, you must turn right after the, how do you say, semaforo, the red light thing, the tourist has already smiled politely and walked away. Marco is not bad at English. Marco has a translation problem, not an English problem. And here is something almost every English teacher and linguist agrees on. Fluent speakers and even fluent second language speakers do not translate. They connect the idea directly to the English word. No detour through their first language. It is like the difference between driving straight to a destination and driving to a completely different city first and then driving back to where you actually wanted to go, same destination. Twice the time, twice the stress. The good news, this is not a talent, it is a skill. And skills can be trained with the right exercises done consistently. So let's get into it. Exercise 1. The object naming habit. This is the simplest one, and you can start it today, in the next 5 minutes. As you go about your day, silently name things around you in English, not sentences, just words. You look at your coffee cup. You think cup. You see a bus, you think bus. You see your neighbor's dog. You think dog, leash, bark. Here is the real-life version. Anna takes the tram every morning in Warsaw. Instead of scrolling her phone in silence, she looks around and labels everything in English in her head. Window, seat, backpack, rain, umbrella. It takes maybe 2 minutes, but she does it every single day. Why does this work? Because right now your brain has a direct connection between an object and its word in your own language. When you see a cup, your brain doesn't even think. It just knows kubek or tasse or whatever your word is. This exercise builds that exact same direct connection but for English. No detour through your native language at all. But here is the thing. Naming objects is a great warm-up. The next exercise takes it one big step further. Exercise 2. The inner narration habit. This one is simple to explain and surprisingly hard to do at first, which is exactly why it works so well. While you do routine tasks, things you don't have to think about, like making coffee, walking to the bus stop, or washing the dishes, narrate what you are doing in English, inside your head, in real time. I am opening the fridge. I'm taking out the milk. I am pouring it into my coffee. It smells good. Sophia does this every morning while getting ready for work in Lisbon. She told me it felt silly at first, almost like talking to herself. But after 2 weeks, she noticed something. She wasn't building the sentence and then saying it. The English was just coming as she did the action. This is the whole point. Routine actions don't require deep thinking, so your brain has extra space to practice English in real time, without pressure, without anyone listening, without the fear of making a mistake in front of someone. And here was a surprising thing many learners don't realize. Silent inner speech, the voice in your head, uses many of the same brain pathways as speaking out loud, so even though nobody hears you, you are still training your speaking brain. This is not just imagination, it's real practice. Now, once inner narration starts feeling natural, we need to train something faster, something for real conversations. And that brings us to the exercise most learners skip, but it might be the most important one. Exercise 3, the 2-second reflex rule. Here is the biggest mistake learners make when trying to think in English. They try to build the perfect sentence in their head before saying anything. This is exactly what causes the pause, the freeze, the awkward silence while your brain searches for the correct grammar. The 2-second reflex rule is simple. When someone asks you something or you need to react to something, force yourself to say something within 2 seconds, using the simplest words possible, not the perfect sentence. The fastest, honest sentence. Elena is at the doctor's office in Vienna. The doctor asks, "How long have you had this pain?" A perfectionist brain wants to build. "I have been experiencing this discomfort for approximately 3 days now." But that takes too long, and while she's building it, she stays silent, and the silence feels worse than any grammar mistake ever could. The 2-second reflex version, 3 days, it started Monday. Simple, fast, understood. Perfect grammar not required. Here's a fact that might surprise you. Language researchers who study fluency agree that hesitation and long pauses damage a listener's impression of your English far more than small grammar mistakes do. A short, simple, quick sentence, even an imperfect one, sounds more fluent than a long silence followed by a perfect one. So train this on purpose. Ask yourself questions throughout the day and force a 2-second answer. What did I eat for lunch? 2 seconds, go. How is the weather? 2 seconds, go. Now, the first 3 exercises train your thinking, but your mouth and your brain also need to move together at real conversation speed. That's where the next exercise comes in, and honestly, it's the one that surprises people the most. Exercise 4. The shadowing exercise. Shadowing means listening to a native English speaker and repeating what they say almost at the same time they say it, out loud, like a shadow following a step behind. You don't need special material. A podcast, a YouTube video, even this video. Play a few seconds. Repeat it immediately, matching the speed, the rhythm, the pauses. Here's why this exercise is different from all the others. It removes the translation step completely by force. There is no time to translate. You have half a second to hear a sound and reproduce it. Your brain has no choice but to process English, not as a puzzle to decode into your own language first. Marco, from our supermarket story, started shadowing 3 minutes a day using short English podcast clips, not writing anything down, not looking up words, just listening and repeating out loud again and again. Within a few weeks, he told me something interesting. English sentences started to feel like they had a shape and a rhythm he could just copy, rather than words he had to individually understand and rebuild. This is one of the exercises that language teachers and coaches recommend most often for exactly this problem, breaking the mental habit of translating, because it physically doesn't give your brain time to translate. And here's the thing, the last exercise combines almost everything we've talked about, and it's the one you do right before your brain rests for the day, which actually matters more than you'd think. Exercise 5. The English Diary Whisper. Before you go to sleep, spend 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, talking to yourself quietly in English about your day, out loud, or even just whispering. It doesn't need to be organized. It doesn't need perfect grammar. Today was a normal day. I woke up late. I had a meeting. It was boring. I ate pasta for dinner. Tomorrow I want to call my sister. Anna does this every night, lying in bed in Warsaw, before she puts her phone down. She says it feels like closing the day in English, the same way she might write a short diary entry, except spoken instead of written. Here's something interesting about sleep and memory that researchers have studied. Whatever you do right before sleep tends to get processed and reinforced by your brain overnight more strongly than things you do at other, busier times of day. That's not a made-up fact to sound impressive. It's simply why this 2-minute habit, done consistently, tends to stick so much better than a random burst of studying in the middle of a busy afternoon. And that's all 5. Object naming. Inner narration, the 2-second reflex rule, shadowing, and the English diary whisper. Okay, let's bring it all together, because I want you to actually remember this, not just watch and forget. Exercise 1. Name objects around you in English, no sentences, just words, to build direct connections. Exercise 2. Narrate routine tasks in your head in English, using the mental space that boring tasks give you for free. Exercise 3. Force a 2-second answer using the simplest words you have, because speed beats perfection every single time. Exercise 4. Shadow native speakers out loud, so your brain has no time to translate. Exercise 5. Whisper your day back to yourself in English before you sleep, because your brain locks in whatever you do right before it rests. None of these require a classroom. None of these require money. They require 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, done again and again, until one day, like Marco, you realize the English is just there, waiting, not translated, just there. I am so proud of you for staying until the end of this one. This is not easy work. Changing the way your brain thinks is not easy, but you are doing it one small exercise at a time, and that matters more than you know. Tell me in the comments, which one of these 5 exercises are you going to try first? I really want to know, so leave it below. I read every single comment. If this helped you even a little, hit subscribe, because Spark and Speak post new episodes to help you speak real everyday English with confidence. And next time, we're going to talk about something that happens the moment you open your mouth to speak English, and it has nothing to do with grammar at all. You do not want to miss that one. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.